Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, All Saints Catholic Church in Dallas, Texas welcomes you to All Saints Coffee Chats.
Oh, it's just me. Hey, guys.
Hi! Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. What a whirlwind this is when you don't have your support team. The rest of your support team. Erica has been a great support. I shouldn't say it that way because that sounds terrible, because that wouldn't be true at all. But yeah, we're missing our other half.
I know. It's quiet without the
It is quiet. But you are missed. But we're good. For some reason I'm not seeing it now on Facebook. So but hello to there we are.
Yeah, I know.
Hello to everyone joining us here on episode 59 of Facebook. If you've been on this journey with us, glad you're along for the ride. It's been over a year now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There are 52 weeks. Wow. Yeah, what a crazy ride. It's still kind of in awe that, like, we've made it this far, and it was, like, us one day, like, a day or two before we started. We were just like, let's do this.
Yeah, because
And then we were just, like, scrambling. And now we pretend to be official.
Yeah, look where it is now. That's awesome.
So, somehow, struggled to get us started. So, again, thank you for your patience. But somehow, I don't know, I guess the coffee kicked in. And
Maybe that's what it was.
feel
Everything started to click, like 2 sips in.
So, again, glad you're here with us. Got some fun stuff planned today. Get ready. Hold on tight. Anything fun been happening lately?
Just getting into the summer. It's starting to get busy, and I know, like my family has a lot going on to where we're just not really here a lot on weekends.
Yeah.
And whenever we are here, it's like, all right, how many things can we check off our to-do list this week? And I'm like, this is not the summer I remember in, like, high school.
Right.
Whenever I was, like, 3 months with no plans.
No plans, right?
What?
Someone asked me, I think it was just yesterday, the day before, and they were like, y'all get a summer break, right? And I was like, what's a summer break?
What's that?
I'm not sure what that means. I was like, yeah, we get summer because it's 150 degrees in Texas.
Yeah.
And, like, super humid, but, like, there's no break.
Yeah, it feels like summer.
Yeah.
Physically outside.
Right. I was like, but there's no break. Like, I mean, we're about to go into, like, our busiest month, I think, within the next 4 weeks, where I'm like, can't even keep up what's going on from day to day. So, yeah, there's no break.
Yeah.
And especially with ministry, it's like,
yeah,
trying to do it, like, all the kids are off right now from school.
Yeah, this is, like, an exciting time.
This is prime time for them. And, you know, like, yesterday we had breakfast and all the kids were hanging out. Teens out there watching, or people that have teenagers. We go to Mass on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. with the parish, and then we have breakfast here in the youth room. Pancakes and bacon and bagels, and we play games and board games and stuff in the gym, and just fun community building time. So come hang out with us. Wednesdays from 9 to 12.
It's a good time to just come upstairs and smell bacon for, like, 3 hours.
Right. Say if you like the smell of bacon, come hang out with us. We had a couple teens that walked in here, so they were like, I didn't even know this was up here. And I'm like, where have you been? So Cam, you're always welcome back. Cam and Bailey and Avery and whoever else is out there. So let's mix this up a little bit.
All right.
Today. Let's do scripture first.
Ooh.
I know, right?
I got that one. Okay.
Any good scriptures lately?
Yes, from the gospel for this upcoming Sunday. I know we always just, like, skip to the Sunday gospels, so whenever we're, like, reflecting on them so much, I'm, like, always on the top of my mind. Jessica, who was here last week, was at our women's Bible study this past Monday, and she mentioned something that I had never, like, caught on to. But basically in the, first part of the gospel, with the woman who comes and touches Jesus' cloak, whatever it is. His garment, that's what it is. She was giving us kind of, like, the history behind what the situation would have looked like at this time, and basically mentioning that, like, the women in her situation would have been deemed as unclean, and I think she had been that way. It said for like 12 years she had been looked at this way, and so just by that sense, like her human interaction had been at such a low point for 12 years.
Wow.
And like anyone that she would have come in contact with would have also been deemed as like unclean. And so the fact that she not really was like willing to risk that, but she knew her faith was so strong that she would like risk that sort of like, you know, public humiliation for herself and for Christ, just because her faith was so large, and she knew like the reality of what was going to happen if she did this. It wasn't going to be something that was going to end up being like humiliating for either of them. Like, it was going to change her life. And she mentioned a couple of other things, but I just thought it was so fascinating how much like I grew up not really looking into a whole lot of like the historical context behind a lot of the readings. Like, I had picked up a little bit here and there, but it wasn't really until I was in college that I purposefully took classes on the historical context of different times within different like Bible stories. And I forget how important that context is to just like understanding like the entire weight of what is happening in like different gospels and different readings. It's really it's eye-opening, and it's just again adds a lot of weight to like what we're reading, and allows you to like really dive into the experience of like what each of these people are going through. So it was really fascinating, just because I feel like I've read that story so many times, and I'm like, oh, she touched his garment, like,
no big deal.
Yeah, it makes sense, cool, but like knowing her history, it's like that would have been just that simple action would have been so like she had to build so much confidence and have so much faith just to do that, like which it's such a simple thing, but yeah, really, really fascinating.
Yeah, just and I really have loved that about I don't know if have you watched The Chosen? I know we
I need to catch up on season 2, but
me too. Out there, I know we probably plug it every single week, but watch The Chosen. I resisted a long time watching it, but it's definitely worth it. And just looking at how it gives like a lot of the life stories behind so many of the characters that we often just see the surface, but like learning more and like seeing the context, like you were saying, of the women, just looking at like the apostles and some of their lives, and like one of the men, and like how he like went home and like had this like almost agonizing conversation with his wife of like, do I go and follow this man, and like I don't want to leave you, and like but like I need to go do this, and like she was so supportive of him and like his calling, and so it's just really incredible to like see everything in context and like the real life of all of these people. Like, it's not, while it's like enclosed in a book, it's not just a storybook. It's it's people that lived thousands of years ago, but it's still, you know, it's still real life.
Yeah, like those conversations definitely happen.
Oh, absolutely.
We might just not have like recordings of them, but it wouldn't make sense if they didn't.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense if we didn't have any like context or understanding of their families and just their daily lives that they go through.
Right. And I mean, even somebody yesterday, we were talking about like some of the conversations that like Mary and Joseph had like with Jesus, and it was like, did Jesus get in trouble for like not picking your shoes up, or like, you know, like all the silly things that like Jesus, pick your clothes up, you know, you didn't take the trash out, you know, like all the things that like happen in daily life, like did those conversations like go on in the home? And I'm sure they did, because there's no way they like kind of survived without it, but then he was also Jesus, so like, what, you know, did he do everything perfectly? I don't know. But while he was, you know, fully divine, he was also fully human, so I'm sure at some point he made a mistake. I don't call it like error, you know, because
he was a child.
He was a child.
Jesus was a toddler. I can't imagine what that was like. All these different things, like learning to Mary and Joseph like teaching him how to walk and how to talk, like all these things happen, and it's so,
don't run with the sword,
like
don't run with the knife.
But it's so interesting how much I feel like sometimes we tend to forget the historical context, but how in touch it can help us feel with different things.
I think a scripture for me has been, and I keep just thinking how funny it is. It was from last week, actually. The Thursday reading, the first reading from 2 Corinthians, and the very first line is, it's Paul talking to the people. Let's see if I can quote it, because it's just funnier to quote it. Well, since I have 650 browsers open, don't be like me. Maybe it's not there to quote, guys. So sorry. But essentially, Paul just saying, put up with me. And it's just hilarious. And, it's him having that conversation, or telling the people there, if only you would put up with a little foolishness from me. Please put up with me. For I am jealous of you with the jealousy of God. And of course that all has context, but looking just at that line, and I feel him asking, the people to kind of put up with him, and I feel there's so many moments where we're just God, I know you don't have to, but will you put up with me, please? You know, and it's just I promise, I'm just gonna
just be with me, just hold on a little bit.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw a fit. Thank you for your patience. Can you just put up with this a little bit longer?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know it's your way, and I know your way is better than my way. I don't always like to think that. I try to create my own plans, and then you laugh at me. But just put up with me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has just felt I feel like that line has come up a little too much in my life lately, where I'm God, just put up with me, please. Please. If it's in the Bible, I can say it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I feel it's also him kind of directing towards the bigger picture here and being look, I know I'm just like Paul in that sense. I am just here trying to share truth, and you have to deal with me through it, but it's not for my sake. It's for yours,
yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So if you're just jumping on, I think we have a great viewership today. It might just be you and I watching ourselves. But whatever. If you're out there and you have questions, throw them in the comment section there. We had some friends that told us they were going to send us questions, so we're ready. We're waiting for them. Don't let us down.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh yeah, no, we're. What just happened there? Oh no, we're good. Okay. Got nervous for a second that just closed.
Oh well.
So yeah, throw us some comments or questions. We'll get to those as we go. But thanks for joining us here today. I know you're what's going on? There's only two of us. Yep.
I know. A little
Me and Erica.
15 minutes in, but we're good.
Ladies coffee chat. Here we are.
We're good to go.
So we also like to talk about saints. Got any saints lately? Any saints?
I was actually just gonna jump right into Solemnity of John the Baptist.
Oh yeah, it is.
Because that's fresh in my mind for today.
Yeah. Celebrate its solemnity.
Yeah, which I guess I just didn't know that his is just one of the few births in the church that are celebrated.
Ooh, I never thought about that.
I was reading about it today, and I was I guess I just never put two and two together that there wasn't many celebrated. But then as you start to understand and reflect on his story, you're well, why not? He was one of the first people to just recognize the divinity of Christ. He wasn't even born yet.
Right.
It's not he was a young child with some, he had that innocence, but he wasn't walking or talking. He was in the womb of Elizabeth, and he knew. And so it's so fascinating. So yeah, it's well, why not have another day celebrated for St. John the Baptist?
Right. Who from you said, within the womb was continuing from that very moment of his existence, was preparing the way for Jesus. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, and I think it's almost that great reminder, we don't need some big thing to happen, or people are oh, I'm waiting for my moment to do something, and it's no, it's always our job and our role and our vocation to, like, bring people to Jesus and, like, pave that way. And, like, we can't just wait on something, or we can't wait on some big moment. And, like, we don't have to, you know, Bible thump, so to speak. Like, I don't need to shove this down someone's throat. Mm-hmm. But, like, just sharing Jesus every moment that we can. Yeah. And, like, how are we kind of planting seeds, per se, in the opportunities that we're given? Because even, like, within the womb, it was like, I'm going to rejoice over Jesus. And it's like, I think our way of rejoicing in the Lord is, like, sharing him and not being afraid to share him. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just it's just a really great feast day. And it's like, I think we forget in the church that we have so many opportunities to, like, celebrate. Mm-hmm. And, like, while every day is a day to celebrate, it's like a solemnity, like, do something special today, mm-hmm. you know? Have some extra coffee, you know? You know, we, like, celebrate, like, the solemnity of St. Joseph and, you know, so many other solemnities that there are. But I think it's also important to look at, like, in the moment that Jesus does recognize, not Jesus, John the Baptist does recognize, you're like, what are you talking about? You know, Jesus' divinity, as you were saying. When Elizabeth had gone, right? Mm-hmm. Elizabeth had gone to visit Mary. Mm-hmm. And, like, looking at Elizabeth and, like, her faithfulness and, like, her just perseverance and, like, just was almost distraught throughout her life, like, because she had these desires to, like, I would assume, to, like, have a family and couldn't. You know, we get, like, a little bit of information on that because, if my memory serves me correct, I think she's only in one chapter. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's, like, Luke chapter 1.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think she's anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So, like, and I think there's, like, very limited information. Hey, Bible scholar out there, Paul Bianchi. Yeah. Why don't you confirm that for us, please, wherever you are. Or if anybody else wants to confirm that for us, that would be great. But, like, I think there's a little bit of information of, like, she was the exact wording, like, she was barren for many years, or, like, she couldn't conceive, you know exactly what that was, but, like, I would translate that to being, like, that was a desire of hers, mm-hmm. to have a child, and she couldn't. You know, her and, Zechariah? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Man, I'm
blanking on, like, the Bible today.
Got you. This is rare form for me, so it's okay. Elizabeth and Zachariah, and, like, they had this desire to have a family, and then, like, when they're, like, super old, 80 years old, but, like, she knew, but she, like, trusted in God's will that, like, if this was the desire that she had, then, like, the Lord was going to fulfill that. Mm-hmm. And he did, even at her old age, when everybody would say, there's no way in the world you're going to have a kid at your age. Like, like, your time is over, mm-hmm. you know, like, mm-hmm. biologically, you know, like, every way, naturally. Shape, and form, like, there's no way you're having a kid at your age. And then it's like, how are you keeping up with a kid at 80, you know, 80 plus, however old she was. Yeah. You know, it's like, can you imagine, like, having a kid at 80? Like,
I can't imagine having a kid now, so 80 years old.
I'm, like, thinking of, like, my grandmother, who's almost 93, and I'm like, so grandma would have had a kid 13 years ago, she'd have a 13-year-old? Yeah, that would not go well. Yeah. Like, just not at all. Just wouldn't go well. Yeah. But, like, the beauty of Elizabeth's role within all of that.
Mm-hmm. And just the, you know, we don't get a glimpse of any of that hesitation from her.
Right.
In the same way that whenever Angel Gabriel visits Mary, and we see that kind of, like, so, like, some form of, like, hesitation. Like, she was fearful for a moment because that was, like, a big moment.
Right.
We don't see that for Elizabeth, but it's also important to recognize, like, I can't imagine after that long in that age and then realizing what is happening and being so caught up. I mean, she ran to Mary with, I imagine, all the excitement and all of the fear in the world.
Yeah.
And just not understanding. But I also like to picture and imagine that she obviously she knew something big was happening, but something with her faith something so big and beyond herself, of like, if this is happening to me now after so long of wanting this, like something bigger is coming. So I can't imagine what was going through her head.
Right. I mean, I think if you're here, Erica, glad you're here with us. Feel free to throw any questions, comments. We're currently talking about the Feast of John the Baptist, but also his mother Elizabeth's role and women within the church, and just throughout like salvation history and the beauty of women's roles throughout that. Elizabeth, Mary, and so many of the others that were around for her during that time and after. Do you, like, when you look at women, I mean, especially during that time, they very much were kind of in the background of kind of the scenes, but they also played like a very significant role.
Yeah.
You know, there was always like Mary Magdalene was always around. Like, what do you see as like, I guess in a sense, like the role that they played, or kind of, I don't know, kind of give me your take on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think as a whole, just women, like I had said this to you before, the role of women being women is so important in this historical context and all throughout our history, and just being that nurturing, caring, very intelligent. I mean, I'm not saying like more so than like men, but just that is so unique to the growth and development like of this faith. And I mean, I think of I am always going to forget her name, the mother of St. Augustine.
St. Monica?
St. Monica, you know.
Yes,
like, St. Monica. Because I'm thinking along the lines of like Elizabeth and St. Monica, you know, they were there to like uphold and develop and nurture the faith of their children that led on to so many other things.
Yeah.
And same with Mary, you know, she just, it's so wild how we can, I think, just kind of not dismiss it so much, but we look on to the next thing.
Yeah.
We look on to what St. John the Baptist is doing and all these amazing things in St. Augustine, but we have to remember the roots of that. And what was St. Monica doing? She was there for so long, just praying for him and waiting for him and not giving up any hope of that, of his, you know, conversion in a sense. And so, you know, who's in the background of this? And it always is those women, motherly figures in the back. And something that I hadn't read it before, but I found was Pope John Paul's letter to women. I haven't read it, but I had heard about it. And he kind of goes in different sections, and he starts with multiple things of just like going through like, thank you women who are daughters and women who are sisters. Thank you women who are consecrated women. Thank you women who work. Thank you women who are mothers by any means. And all of these things. And one of the last quotes that he has, it says, "Thank you every woman for the simple fact of being woman. Through the insight which is so much a part of your womanhood, you enrich the world's understanding and help to make human relations more honest and authentic." So I just was like, now I really want to get into this and read this, because he just mentions like every aspect of what a woman can do, and thinking each of the ways that they just enhance his faith and, you know, like you said, bring more honesty to it.
I don't know if it was Drumpel too, or there was someone else, but recently read a quote of like, the world doesn't need what women have, it needs who women are. And I think we often get so caught up in like what we can do, and it sounds so like what's the word, almost cliche, or I don't know what the best word I'm looking for, but like we're human beings, like it's like the being, like we need to just often be, like we get so caught up in like what we can achieve, and like we've got to like earn some status, and like but like just our presence, and like God created us for a certain purpose, and like who we are, and like that's what he wants us to share with the world, like not something external, like that we have to create. And like just bringing that to Jesus. And I always think back to like the story of like Mary and Martha. And like, you know, people often talk about like, are you a Mary or you're a Martha? You know, and Mary and Martha, like, we all know that story of Martha running around the house and is like, I gotta get everything perfect, and I'm definitely a Martha. Cleaning and cooking and da-da-da-da, and it's like, what are you doing, Mary? You're not even helping me, you know? Yeah. And Mary's sitting there at Jesus' feet. And it's like, well, who chose the better part? Who's doing it better? And, you know, we know how the story plays out of choosing the better part. And it's just taking that time to, like, be present to the one that created us and made us who we are. Women have such a unique role, and it's, like, not trying to change that because of something else external. But I also found it so interesting that, like, women also clung to each other in the necessity of community and the necessity, like, while it became such an interesting thing, like, women were kind of, during different times of the month there, women had their own community, and I believe it was called the Red Tent, if you're following me here.
Yeah.
Just don't know what children are out there watching. And so, but they had their community at that time, and, like, they bonded together and they clung together. And so I think it's interesting that we're often like, oh no, we can do this alone and we have our family, but I think women need each other to have that relation and to bond, but we all need community. Because it's like that sense of belonging and that sense of being needed, but just being able to and feeling that sense of belonging and love in return. You know, like, we're made for each other. We're not, you know.
Yeah.
That's why we go to mass together. Like, we can pray on our own, but, like, worship together.
Yeah. And that's what I think is so interesting about kind of the modern perspective on women and feminism, is it's all focused on equality, but in the sense of, you know, I agree with that in the sense of, like, we should all be receiving the same things, like, 100%. But we're not equal in the sense of men and women are just not the same. Like, I think we get so caught up in that and seeing, like, you know, we can do everything the men can do, vice versa. And yes and no, in the sense of just, like being a woman and taking charge of that is so empowering, and understanding that our minds just work differently. Yeah. And that's amazing. Like, that's how it's supposed to be, you know. That's something that is, it can be, like, so empowering, and just, and even seeing, like, in the readings with St. John the Baptist and Elizabeth, and seeing, like, they were, like, portrayed equally but playing very different parts. And so I think that's just really important to recognize, is it is about equality, but it isn't, in a sense, and just realizing that we work differently, and we bring things that men cannot bring, and vice versa, and that's how we build each other up. That's the whole purpose of what we're supposed to be doing. You know, if we start to kind of, I don't know, not say switch those roles, but not empower our own, like, purpose, then it's lacking. So if that makes sense.
You had a unique kind of perspective earlier. We were talking about this in, like, the role that women have and, like, what women offer. Can you elaborate on that? Just, like, on like nurturing and kind of the gifts that women bring to the world that men, not that they can't, but it's who women are created to be. And
it's very natural. Like, that nurturing aspect is very natural, in the sense of, and I in the quoting of John Paul's II's letter to women, and talking about that motherly nature, not in the sense of you have to have birthed a child to, like, understand that to some degree. You know, there are mothers who adopt. There are motherly figures in my life who I have no relationship, like, blood relationship with. But just being someone who is a woman and who is guiding me in that way. They just absolutely like embody that nurturing and caring kind of relationship that you just can't find elsewhere. And so it is empowering to have that in my life, but also want to be that for others, for like, you know, my younger siblings, like younger cousins, whatever I have in life, just like sisters and friends, and realizing that we can be that for each other, and we can't really like find that anywhere else. Like you were talking about the community that we find in other women it's just like unlike anything else.
Yeah. And I think within like needing that community, and like I've had a huge blessing of like finding community life where I live, but I know one of the points of life is the hardest time, especially the folks that you work with, like with young adults, is like often are very transient, depending on whether it's work or school or family or whatnot, and like desiring that sense of community. And I think we've really done a great job here at All Saints, especially like coming out of coronavirus, and we've had lots of conversations throughout the parish of like welcoming new people, and what can we do to gather, and like we'll talk about something in a little while, like this Sunday, just encouraging community. What have y'all been able to do like with young adults, like in encouraging that sense of community and providing experiences for them?
I think it's just going back to my first goal coming into this as a whole was just providing the space for prayer and fellowship. And so that, like, starting with our large group nights where we have a place where everyone can come together, and whether we're learning something about our faith or just empowering some. Ooh, this isn't working.
Hopefully that's just, I think you're still going.
Oh, okay, I guess I'm still, okay, cut off mine, sorry. Whether we're learning about the faith or just joining together in community to do something fun, like,
right,
that's kind of developing our relationships, and now we're having different opportunities for that, whether it be like the men's and women's Bible studies, which is just great for those communities too, or Holy Hour on Tuesdays, where you can take time like afterward or before dinner and just be able to stop into the chapel, and just providing the space and multiple opportunities for us to gather as a community of young adults. And so that kind of goes into the topic for our next event is tonight at 7 p.m. in the gym, and Paul will be with us tonight. He's going to be kind of giving his perspective on this sense of belonging, and so our new title for these like large group nights that we've been having on Thursdays is something that I've wanted to come up with for a long time. It didn't seem like a big deal to me at first, but as I started to come up with something, I was like, no, like what's something that's not going to be like random, or it's going to have some sort of weight to it and like purpose to what we're doing. And that word belong was something that stuck out to me for so long, and realizing that it kind of connects to like the verse that we had in the beginning of whenever we first started this ministry, was just the coworkers in the vineyard and joining together. And so this sense of belonging and realizing that it's not always easy to come by, like, but us as young adults play such an important role in the Catholic Church. And our place and purpose is so unique in the sense that it is a very like large chunk age group, 18 to 39 that the Diocese of Dallas has. There's just so many different like stages of life happening there, and you're not.
That's a national thing.
You're
not alone.
It's wild. I mean, like from the earliest part of that, you're starting in college, and from the latest part of that, you might have a full career.
Right.
You might have a family. Like all of these different things. And so there's so many different things that can happen in that part. But I think within that, like, you might find a place in your college ministry. You might, whenever you have a family, come to church because you're trying to get your kids involved in the church, and it's just like, what is for this age group? Like, where is our place as this age group? And so I just think it's so important recognizing that as big as this age group is, these are the people who are, volunteering as like core team members. These are the people who are bringing children into the faith. These are people who are discerning priesthood or religious life, or going into that. in early stages of life. These are the young married couples, people discerning like so many different parts of their life in the faith, and yet it can be so hard to find a place where like I think we actually belong in the church. There's different ways to get involved, but there's not always something for like young adults in particular. So that was like a really like kind of short deep dive into it. But
no, that was perfect.
That's something that I'm really excited to kind of introduce and go into tonight. We're really excited to have Paul there because he has way more experience as a young adult than I do, being like kind of on the fresh end of it, not really having that. So really excited to have him there and just empower each other to realize that we belong in the church and we have a place in this church, and this ministry is where we can start.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I'm excited that you're doing that for our young adults. So if you have young adults, or you are a young adult, or know a young adult, share with them tonight in the gym in Fellowship Hall. Well, I guess in the Camel Life Center more than anything. Yeah. In the gym. Not in Fellowship Hall, gym. I said that, and then I was like, wrong place.
We're typically in Fellowship Hall. We're just in the gym tonight, so it's throwing me off too.
Gotcha. 7:00.
Mm-hmm.
Dinner provided.
Yes,
dinner provided.
Food,
so if anything, come eat dinner.
You get dinner.
Meet a new friend. But yeah, no, it's just great that having that place and like knowing like I can go and I'm not just showing up to like a random community event where it's like I walk in and I mean, it's hard. You have your older adults, and then you have your, like, young families, and it's like, I don't fit in there, and I don't fit in there, and, like, I know I can just come to a place where I'm going to find people, like, generally the same age. And are that kind of in the same state of life.
Yeah.
Which I think is even more important than even the age.
Yeah.
Finding someone that's on the same area, maybe starting a career, or, just move to a new city, whatnot, and can just be like, okay, we don't all know people, but, like, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Because we have something in common. We're all Catholic, and, we all kind of have the same general goals, versus just meeting people at work, which may be more difficult to find things you have in common, besides working together.
Yeah.
Or working at the same place. So, yeah, no, that's great. So tonight, 7 p.m. in the gym, young adults, 18 to 39. I know, fun age group there. 21 years. 21 years. 21 year.
Oh my
streak.
Yeah, so
they
many.
could make lots of jokes there. 21 years. But if you're also looking for another opportunity, live video. I think we're still rolling. Hopefully we are. It says something about interruption. Another opportunity for community. This Sunday, there will be food trucks in the church parking lot. I know there will be one. I'm not sure how many, but as far as I'm currently aware, it's one that's like Greek food, which I love Greek food.
Yeah.
And then there will also be tongue-in-cheek ice cream food trucks. So come hang out, I think, after both the 9 and the 11 o'clock masses out in the parking lot. Just time for fellowship and, fun and meet some new people, and maybe your kids will make some new friends. And just really encouraging, community and really getting people to come back here to the parish. Because we've all been away for so long, and I think people are slowly trickling back. It's been exciting to see the masses filling up, and it's just really, once it was over like 500 people in the church, and it was just really exciting.
That's something that I noticed initially, like, about this church, and something I've seen more and more that I really admire is just focus on community. And just, like, seeing y'all, like, you had your Wednesday Bible studies or the Breakfast of Champions now, where there doesn't always have to be a specific, like, topic or something going on. It's really just about building the community and building relationships, and where those go, like, it doesn't matter. It matters that they started at the church.
At the church,
It's really awesome. I love to see that.
Awesome. Yeah. Is it that time? I think it might be that time.
All right.
I think it's that
I'm
time.
mentally ready now.
You ready? Okay. All right. I think we're ready for this.
Okay.
I think we can do this. Yes.
Does this actually like go off? I don't know. I've never actually heard it from
All right, we're back. I don't know. Hopefully we didn't mess it up, friends. We're still here.
Yeah.
All right. How about I'll ask the question and then you answer, and then we'll come back to me?
Yeah.
How does that?
That
Does that
sounds
sound good?
good.
All right, here we go.
We're just gonna roll through this. Okay.
Oh, hold on. I need a timer.
Oh yeah. I can always count.
Oh, got it.
There we go.
Oh, I see. I got it. All right, ready?
We're good.
1, 2, 3. Did it start? It did start.
Okay.
All right. Summer edition. Would you rather spend summer with your family in an RV or in a fancy hotel?
I got a family of 7. We're not getting in an RV. A hotel. For sure.
I think I'm going with the hotel. I think the rest of the family would be happier in the
Yeah.
hotel. Would you rather go to summer camp with your friends or stay at home with your family?
Probably stay at home with my family.
I'm gonna say go to summer camp. I was a camp girl.
Okay, yeah, I didn't grow up going to summer camps. So I'm like, I don't
Like,
know what it's
I'm
gonna be like.
Hands down, best thing I ever did.
Awesome.
Would you rather swim in the ocean or swim in a pool?
A pool. Yeah.
I would rather swim in a pool. But an ocean is fun.
Yeah.
Would you rather live on a boat for the summer or live in a treehouse?
Boat for the summer.
I think I would rather
say
live
that
in
now.
a treehouse.
Yeah.
I think I would get probably motion sick after a while. I can do it for like short periods of time. Would you rather get a really bad sunburn or get stung by a jellyfish?
Stung by a jellyfish.
Stung by a jellyfish, I think it would go away faster.
Yeah, I think that's
Sitting
what
down
I'm
with a really bad sunburn is not a lot of fun.
You just can't move for like the next week, and it takes you out.
It's awful.
Some words.
Would you rather float in the pool on a giant unicorn or a giant dragon?
Unicorn. Like those massive, like,
Blow-ups?
that, or just like a massive unicorn?
I don't know. I'm not sure if this has to do with like real things or
Yeah.
blow-up things.
Probably unicorn, though.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with unicorn. Would you rather ride a roller coaster or a water slide?
Roller coaster.
I'm gonna go with water slide. Would you rather surf the waves or read a book? Like on the beach.
Surf, if I knew how to surf. Maybe surf.
I'm gonna go with like riding the waves, and like we wouldn't actually like surf. We would like go out and like ride them on a boogie board.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know why I was thinking I would have to surf.
I mean, you
like,
can literally
oh.
you can surf if you know how. That
Yeah.
would just be dangerous for me. Would you rather have seashells for ears or a starfish for a nose? We had to go weird for one of them.
Yeah. Probably. I feel like that could be a trend. Seashells for ears.
I think I'm going with seashells.
Starfish on the nose, you just can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with seashells.
Yeah.
And at least with like our hair, we could probably color them up a little bit.
You would never know.
And I could like hang things on like earrings.
Yeah.
And then I could just like make it like trendy.
Yeah.
Would you rather make friends with a dolphin or with a llama?
A dolphin.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say dolphin.
I'm gonna go dolphin. I'm gonna go dolphin.
I don't know how intelligent llamas are.
Would you rather take part in a water balloon fight or be in line to hit a piñata?
Water balloons hurt. Piñata.
A piñata party?
Yeah.
I think I would go with the water balloon fight because then I would get to throw it at people.
Yeah.
Piñata, I get to hit things, but like
It works out either way.
you get to hang your out
Yeah.
on something. Depends on whether I'm mad at people or
Yeah, it depends on the day.
Just kidding. Would you rather have a bouncy castle or a movie theater in your backyard?
Oh gosh. Movie theater in the backyard.
What if we had a bouncy castle to watch the movie?
Well, yeah, that's like a perfect world.
Right?
There. Yeah.
The one thing you wanted from Amazon, huh?
Yeah,
bouncy
I know.
Castle. I think I'm gonna go with the bouncy. No, I think I'm gonna go with the movie theater.
It's hard.
One time we were at the beach. I went up to the beach with a friend, and it was like this resort thing, and we got to watch a movie in the pool at night. It was pretty cool.
That's just it's different.
Yeah.
It makes things so much better.
Would you rather, so for summer vacation, would you rather go to the mountains for the summer or go to the beach?
Beach.
Beach.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you rather go whitewater rafting or ziplining?
Probably ziplining.
I would go rafting. I don't like
I
ziplining.
feel like it looks terrifying, but I've
I'm
never actually
terrified.
been.
Oh, I've been. It's terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. I'll tell you the stories later.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Would you rather eat ice cream every day or s'mores every night?
Ice cream every day.
Ice cream. Yeah, I don't like s'mores that much.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just hot and sticky, and I don't know if I want that in the summer.
How about s'mores ice cream?
Oh, I could do that. Yeah. that'll work. That's fine.
That works fine. Well, friends, don't forget. Oh, hold on. Hold on a sec.
We're actually done.
Wow, that was the fastest time Erica and I have ever done it.
Wow.
Great job.
Well done.
So that was great. We're so glad that you were here to join us for episode 59 of Coffee Chat. We are here. We'll be back here next week, going into 4th of July weekend. So if you're a young adult, don't forget, check out the young adult event tonight in the gym at 7 p.m. with dinner. Speaker Paul Bianchi and rock star Erica Winland. Also, don't forget about the food trucks on Sunday after the 9-11 a.m. masses. Come out and enjoy those and join in community. It's super important, and you are missed. So come and see us. So we will see you all next week.
Yeah.
Do you have any other announcements?
Nope, that's all I got.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good week.